Hey guys, this is Professor Kai. This is actually my very first video of this type, and it's probably the fourth time I've tried to get started because I keep starting and stopping because of making mistakes. So this is going to be one shot. So today I want to talk to you about this idea called the basic psychological need theory. So this is actually currently my favorite theory or model that explains things like human motivation, well-being, how we perform, and ultimately how we thrive as people. Right? This is a theory that's developed by two American psychologists, Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, and they really, in a way, built their work based on really extension of the very well-known idea from Abraham Maslow. Right? So Maslow, almost everybody knows the idea of the hierarchy of needs. Right? So for Maslow, there's the idea is that we have material needs, we have psychological needs, and then we have actualization, or really spiritual needs. Right? And you have to build from the ground up. Right? So fulfill your material needs, then fulfill your psychological needs, then your spiritual needs. And for Deci and Ryan, they really focused on the middle part, being psychologists. They really focused on psychological needs, right? The idea is, we're in the 21st century. We really have the technological capacity to make sure human beings have the material needs fulfilled, right? So start from that basis, we focus on psychological needs. So the basic psychological need theory is actually one part of a larger theory called self-determination theory. Maybe we'll have a conversation about that in the future. But really, this is the foundational component of our modern understanding of human motivation, right? So the core of basic psychological needs theory really is about the idea that there are three psychological needs. By psychological needs, I mean mental and emotional needs that human beings have, right? These three needs are fundamental to our performance as well as our well-being, right? So these needs are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And especially the first two words are straightforward. The third word is a little complicated. It's very academic. But we're going to really explore exactly what they mean. When it comes to autonomy, right, our need for autonomy is really our need to feel like in control of our own actions and, in a sense, our own control of our destiny, right? Autonomy is about having choices. It's about being able to make decisions to choose which choices to have, right? It's not enough to just have choices. We have to be able to choose which choice we want, and ultimately is to be able to act in a way that's aligned with our values, our interests, and our authentic selves, if you may, right? It's who we really are, right? So an example of this I'll give an example from my past, right? So some of you know that I play the piano and sing. It's something I do on the side of being an engineering professor, right? You may not know that I actually learned piano twice in my life, right? But when I was a kid, like many Chinese kids, I was made to play the piano because my grandparents thought it was the right thing to do, right? So I had to play, and I had to learn to play, and that's a very low level of autonomy, right? It's not my choice, and I basically rebelled and quit as soon as I could, right? As soon as I got to middle school, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And a few years ago, I was really in the middle of a pandemic, right? I was kind of figuring out what do I do with my life at this moment, being locked down, and I decided, okay, let's learn piano because I like to sing, right? And I learned to accompany myself. It became a thing that I do every day. Now that motivation changed, right? That nature of learning piano changed. This is now something I want to do, right? So from low autonomy, I had to learn, to now I want to learn. That's very high autonomy. The difference is really, at least noticeably, I felt the difference, right? I want to do this. I think most of you can relate to that, right? Now, when it comes to competence, so that's the second need. Competence is really about feeling effective and capable in our interactions with the environments that we're in, right? So the environment being work, could be home, could be in a relationship, could be in friendship, or could be with a task that we're dealing with, right? And now competence is about mastering skills, right? The mastery of skills. It's also about achieving goals, and finally, it's ultimately about feeling capable in what you do, right? And it doesn't really matter what you do, and it doesn't really matter the exact environment. It's the sense of feeling competent and feeling capable, right? I give an example again from myself, right? So I think I'm a good storyteller. I feel like I'm a good storyteller. I'm pretty good at connecting ideas to make them meaningful for my audience, right? So storytelling is really what teaching is about. So because I feel competent in telling stories, I really enjoy teaching. I enjoy that experience, right? I really thrive off of that experience, knowing that I'm doing well, right? On the other hand, so in that case, I have high competence, right? I feel that I'm competent. Now, an experience of a low competence is I'm just terrible at organizing, right? Especially when it comes to keeping things clean, keeping things not messy, tidying up. I feel very incompetent when it comes to that. So because I feel not competent, often I actually resist doing it. I avoid doing it. I annoy my girlfriend a lot because of that, right? And but that's what happens when you don't feel competent at something. You start not wanting to do it, right? Now the third need is relatedness. Relatedness, I find it a very academic word. I think they invented a funny word, but really it's about relationship. If you think relatedness, relating, relationship, right? Relatedness is really about feeling connected to other people and to community and experience meaningful relationship with people, right? It's a part of this is again, it's meaningful relationship. Another part of this is the sense of belonging, sense of community, sense of mattering, right? This really reminds me of one of my favorite TED Talks. Is called "What Is a Good Life?" Right? I'm gonna put a link to this in this video, and really in this TED Talk they talk about a really, I think it's 90 years long research program done out of Harvard called the Harvard Study of Adult Development. And this is really impressive because you don't get studies in science or social science that's this long. This is the longest study on human happiness in the world, right? And what they found was that, well, take away everything, there is a single factor, right, that determines your happiness and your health, and it's really the quality of your close relationship, right? Not the quantity of your relationship. It doesn't matter if you're extrovert or introvert, it's the quality of your relationship. That could be a romantic relationship, your friendship, it could be with your family or with your community, right? And this really relates to the idea of relatedness and how that is so important to our health, our well-being, our thriving. And it also matters in work, right? Some of us had experience with very toxic work environment. That's when you have really low level of relatedness. You don't want to go to work, right? You're not motivated to work in that case. So basic psychological need theory is really about this idea that in order to be well and to perform in what we do, right? To be motivated to do what we do and to do well, we have to have these three psychological needs met. And that's, we need to feel autonomous, we need to feel competent, and ultimately we need to feel this sense of belonging and connection, right? So what do you think? Do you think that your psychological needs, these three, are being met right now? And if not, how do you think you can, better meet these needs? Let me know in comments. Take care for now.